Hey guys, it is the end of the week, and this is our third video in what we're calling the Go Project. And just again, a summary of what the Go Project is. It's Go Oceans for people. And that can mean just stepping outside of your comfort zone to be kind and compassionate to other people, give people chances that maybe they hadn't previously been given for whatever reason. Going oceans for us means allowing people who normally are on the fray or like in the margins to be a part of the conversation, to be empowered in ways that they haven't before in their life for whatever reason. And this week, I kind of want to branch out from what I was sharing last week on Sunday morning when I talked about this tweet that I had received. And the tweet it's just a powerful tweet, and I'm going to show it here. And it says, let's normalize not needing to know what people are going through in order to be kind and compassionate. Honestly, I can't think of a more important and more powerful, impactful thing that we could be doing with our lives, that I could be doing with my life. And I look back and I think about times in my life where someone has impacted me without even knowing that I needed it, without even knowing what I was going through. And specifically, I look back on a time where Chrissy and I were not really sure what was next for us. We had just turned down a position as a senior pastor at a church in Indiana, and it just didn't feel right. It felt like we were supposed to be here in Wisconsin for some reason. And I think the reason was that we just have relationships that we knew we weren't done with yet. We knew there was more to come. And I remember sitting down with Mark, lead pastor Mark, and just sitting there it was like a cheesecake heaven. And I remember saying to him, like, I do not know what's next for us, but for some reason we're supposed to still be here. And what I think was so powerful after that is that Mark didn't really know me very well. You know, Mark didn't know what we were going through. Mark didn't know really anything about us necessarily. You know, we'd done one or two events together called Uprising, and it was just a pretty cool ecumenical experience where we brought churches together and sang worship songs together, and it was really powerful. But outside of that, Mark didn't really know us, and Mark invited us to join him down at Mishicot at Fox Hills Resort, and we sat in the pool area with our kids, and he just talked to us. And what we came out of that with was that Mark and Janet believed in us. They had no reason to believe in us, but for Mark and Janet, they had normalized not needing to know anything about us in order to be kind and compassionate, in order to empower us. I mean, they took it even another step further. And that was so powerful for us to know that there was someone out there who cared about us. There was someone out there who believed in us and was willing to do what it took to open up doors for us. He believed in us. They believed in us, even though they didn't even know what we were going through. And that takes a lot. I think there are a couple things that have to happen in order to give people second chances, or in order to allow people to be parts of things, you know, without really knowing much about them. And one of them is you kind of have to sacrifice self-preservation. You know, you have to be willing to possibly be hurt for things not to go super well, or to get out of your comfort zone and meet someone and be vulnerable with someone else. That's huge. And I think you have to offer up second chances. And that's what Mark and Janet did for us. They just offered us another chance. And we needed that. We needed that at our specific time in our life. And it reminds me of John 15:12, when Jesus says, you need to love others the way that I've loved you. And there is no greater love than to lay down your own life for your friends. And what I think is probably one of the most powerful things about the word love that Jesus uses throughout the New Testament is that it's actually one word. It's one Greek word, and it's agape. Mark's talked about that before. Why do I think that's so important? I think it's huge because we can really broaden the definition of what love is. Yeah, I can love my neighbor. How do you love your neighbor? Well, if you really broaden the definition, you can say just about anything. I told them the truth. That is sometimes a way of loving people. But what do we lead with? What do we lead with? What kind of love do we lead with? And I see through this passage in John 15:12 that Jesus always led with agape love. And agape love is a charitable love, is a kind and compassionate love. It's a sacrificial love. And that's what he said, no greater agape love than it is to lay down your life for your friends. That's so powerful. So what kind of love are you leading with? What kind of love are we leading with? Are we leading with maybe a harsh love? The type of love that says to your friends, hey, you're screwing some stuff up. You need help, and I'm going to help you through it. That is a type of love. There's no doubt stepping into someone's life when they need it in that way. Calling them out sometimes is needed. But that is not the way that Jesus led with love. Jesus led with agape love. Sure, he definitely called out and challenged people along the way. And most of the time it was the leaders that were being held to a higher standard. But he led with agape love, charitable, sacrificial love. And that's powerful. How in your life, and this is where we get to the prompt. What's the prompt this week? And the question I want to ask is, what part of self, what part of your life do you need to lay down to love people better? What part of your life do you need to lay down in order to love people better? For me, it's self-preservation. There's no doubt about it. I need to lay down self-preservation in my life because self-preservation for me, if you want to define it, is I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be vulnerable with someone who may hurt me. I don't want to be inconvenienced. It's selfish. But that's me. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh man, if I reach out to this person, does this mean like I'm going to have to spend a lot of time with them when normally I would be doing something else? Maybe I'd be with my family. Maybe I'd be doing something, an interest of mine or a hobby, or just simply in the middle of a work day and really focus. But now, if I reach out to this person, we may have to have a 30-minute, hour-long conversation that I don't want to do. So that's the kind of stuff I have to lay down. So I don't know about you. What do you got to lay down? Maybe it's not self-preservation that you need to lay down. Maybe it's something else. But that's for you to figure out. And so that's the prompt. And I think the practice that I want to offer up today that we can work on throughout the next week and throughout our entire life, but specifically this next week, is to reach out to someone and let them know how they've made a positive impact on you. So reach out to someone and let them know how they've made a positive impact on you. I don't think we understand how powerful that can be for people because we don't always know what they're going through. And you might have the perfect words of encouragement for someone right now in the moment they needed it. You may be the open door that someone needed when they thought all the doors were closed. You may be the light at the end of the tunnel for people who need it. And I talked on Sunday about being the image of Christ walking around. Imago Christi, images of Christ. And if Christ said to love others as he loved, what does that look like for your friends and family? What does that look like? I think about it a lot. I think about it a lot because I know I can do better. I know I can love better. And I thankfully don't have to be motivated by fear or guilt to love people better. I can actually be motivated by the kindness and compassion that I've been shown. I want to do the same for others. So I just ask you guys to consider doing that. And with the prompt and the practice, we always connect with a playlist that you can look up at pilgrimgreenbay.com/go project. And then there'll be a playlist there, which will have probably 4 or 5 songs that you can listen to during your day when you're working and you want to just put on some music in the background, or reading, or cleaning, or taking care of kids, you name it. Just a really good way to set our minds at ease, to get our hearts in the right place. And I just thank you guys for being a part of this Go project with us. And I just want you to come alongside us and see what is possible when we lay down our lives for people around us.